Hi everyone, so today I'm doing a video that was requested by a lady called Annabelle, and so this is well, I'm going to call it a diamond Z-fold card. I don't know what it's actually called. I saw Kiki Creations had done it, but hers was all in French, and she'd done it slightly differently as well. She hadn't done the little box section in the middle. I'd seen a couple of Stampin' Up demonstrators who'd done a box in the middle, but they'd actually cut it out. They hadn't actually made a box. It'd actually cut it out of the base card. So this is like my version of it, but it's 5x7, fits in a 5x7 envelope, an envelope for a 5x7 card, and yeah, and so today I used the Dove Craft Bluebirds and Roses pack. So I used the 12x12 papers, I used some of the 6x6 papers, and also some of the little die cut greetings and the die cut decoupage pack as well, the paper pad. So yeah, so hopefully you like it. Happy New Year to you all. Well, it's not quite Happy New Year, is it? Yeah, it is. It's New Year's Eve, so Happy New Year to you all. But yeah, so let's get into it. Okay, so for this card, you're going to need a few bits and bobs. You're going to need, let's start with the card blank itself. So you're going to need a card blank that is 5x7 inches. If you haven't got one that's 5x7, I've got two here for some reason. If you haven't got a 5x7 card blank, then you just need a piece of card that's 10 inches by 7 inches, and you want to score it along the 10-inch edge. You want to score it halfway at 5 inches. Okay, so you're going to make your card blank in half, so that makes your 5x7. And then if you bring your scoreboard in, you're then going to lay your card blank out, so you've got the 10-inch edge along the top there, and you're going to score it halfway at 2.5 inches. Okay, so that's the bit that's going to fold back on itself like this, and that's going to create your kind of like a Z-fold type card. Okay, so that's all the scoring you need to do. Okay, so now you need to sort out your mats and your pattern layers. So for the main bit on the inside, you need a mat layer that is 4 3/4 by 6 3/4, and a pattern that's 4.5 by 6.5, and that's going to go on the inside there like that. You're going to need 2 mats that are 2 1/4 by 6 3/4, and 2 patterns that are 2 inches by 6.5. One's going to go on the front here, and the other one is going to go on the inside there. So I'm going to go ahead now, stick all my mats and patterns together, and then stick them into place on the card. So I've stuck all my panels down, my main panels here, and also the 2 strips here. Now the next thing we need to do is you need to get a piece of card. You can either use the same colour as your base, or you can choose something that kind of goes with your pattern. I've gone for this pearlescent card because it's very similar to this, and because it's going to sit on top of that, I wanted it to kind of blend in a bit better than just having like a white piece. So I've gone for a plain that goes with the pattern. So what you're going to do is you're going to take a piece that needs to be 3 inches by 4 inches, and what we're going to do along the 4-inch edge, we're going to score it every inch. So we're going to score it at 1 inch, at 2 inch, at 3 inches. Okay, so you end up with that. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to fold and burnish all of those lines. And then what we want to do is, with the folded edge on one side, the 2 cut edges, so this piece here, so if you open it up flat, be these 2 end rectangles. You're going to add tape to them. Now I would add red tape if I were you, just because you want it to be strong. I'm going to add a combination of red and normal because I've only got this skinny red tape. and I would need about, I don't know, 4 or 5 lengths of it, and that's just too excessive. So I'm going to put one on the edges and then one in the middle. But if you've got, you know, obviously red tape that fits, just a couple of lines is fine. So I'm going to put a bit of red tape on here. Okay, so obviously that would be all red tape, but I don't have enough. So, so then what we're going to do is take off the backing off of one of your sides. And then if you fold your whole thing in half and stick your side facing down, and you're just going to butt it right up, make sure it's nice and central, butt it into that middle. In fact, actually what you might want to do is just measure down to make sure it is actually central. I'm going to measure it because we're going to put the diamonds on in a minute. It does need to be central. So this measures 3 inches tall. So really it needs to be there. So actually what I'm going to do, I think, is I'm just going to make a little mark at 2 inches and at 5 inches. Okay, and then I know that's where it needs to go. So let's get this round. Sticky side, lift it up. Well, I'm having to lift it up so I can see it. Just put it into that corner crease and shut the card onto that. So you end up with this. Okay, so it's just stuck on just there. Then what we're going to do is fold it back in half again, take off the backing off this other edge, and then we're just literally going to shut the card on top of it. Okay, so hold it nice and flat, bring the card over and shut it. So then when you open it, you end up with that little pop-up box in the middle. Now I have seen people online, and what they've done is they've actually cut this section out of the main card base. But I just thought that this would be an easier way of doing it. So that's why I've gone for this option. Okay, so we're not going to do any more on the middle for now, because it's best to sort out your front, and then you know you can line up better with your inside with your diamonds and stuff. So on the front, we're going to need 2 squares that are 2.5 by 2.5, 2 mat squares that are 2.25 by 2.25, and 2 pattern squares that are 2 inches by 2 inches. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to stick those down. Okay, so I've stuck down my 2 squares. Now they're going to be on the angle, so obviously we're going to end up with a rose, an angle, but that's absolutely fine. I don't mind that. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to attach these on. So they need to go like that. If they overlap a little bit in the middle, that's fine, but just make sure they don't pop out at the top. They should pretty much touch in the middle. But you're just going to go ahead and do that, and you're going to attach on the back, just on this back half here, just on this half here, you're going to put tape. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my square, that's the way around I want to have it. So I'm just going to flip it over like that, so my left stays as my left. And then I'm just going to draw, in fact I'm just going to draw a line, make a little X so I know which side. I'm going to draw a line down the middle, and then I know where to put the tape. So I'm just going to draw a line just down the middle, slightly off, just because I don't want you to be able to see it. And the same on this one. So I'm going to flip it over, just going to draw a line on it. I just find it helps when adding tape, so I know that's the side to add tape. And then you either want to add red tape or normal double-sided. I'm going to go for red tape just to make sure it definitely sticks. If you wanted to, you could even put them on pads. I'm not going to do that, but you could do that. You could put them onto pads. It might be quite nice. The only things then obviously is the postage to think about. Okay, so I've put the red tape on. So now I'm just going to peel off the backing. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to stick it. If I flip it over, I know this side's sticky. we're going to stick it on so that the point goes through that center fold. So like that. Okay, so that's one of them on. And then we're going to go ahead and do the same with this one. You can take off the backing and stick it on there. Okay, so I've taken the backing off. So now again, we're going to line this up here and line it up at the top like that and stick it down. So there's your card so far, and we just need to finish off this piece in the middle. Okay, so now we've done that, we now need to deal with this bit on the inside. Now, there's different ways you can do this, to be honest. I'm just toying with the idea of whether I need to put white around the back of that as well, but I don't think I'm going to. So what you need to do then is get a mat piece that's 3 inches by 3 inches and a pattern piece that's 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. Now the mat piece, if you take a scoreboard, this is the best way that I've found anyway to get it so that you can actually cut the right bit off. Take your scoreboard, and what you're going to do is you just need to put it in. Make sure you know where, let's go for the 2 1/4 mark, which is there. So I'm going to put it in the 2 1/4, find that bit there. Now you want to take off about 3/4 of an inch. Okay, so actually let me just mark this up a little bit. So it's going to be there, 2 1/8. So let's just mark that into 2 1/8, 2 1/8. So I need to take 3/4 of an inch off. So I'm just going to put my score thing in the 3/4, and I know then that that's where I need to cut. So I just found that that's the easiest way of doing it so that it's level. So I'm just going to quickly cut that off now. Like that. And then hopefully that should fit nicely, yeah, into there. Okay, so then what we're going to do is you need your pattern piece. You stick your pattern piece on, and then all we need to do is we just need to cut off that little bit that's hanging over the edge. So I'm going to stick it down first, and then I'm going to cut it off. If you want to have a border, you can. So if you wanted a border, you're just going to lay it down where it needs to be. Take your ruler and then just draw a line, and then just cut along that line. Add your tape. There we go. And so I'm going to add tape to the back of that, and I'm just going to stick that down onto there. Okay, so I just finished off by adding on the little sentiment here. As you will see with the captions, I just took a corner off there and stuck that down so that sticks out. So when it's shut, it sticks out. I'd also seen a version where you have triangles of paper here, which kind of emphasizes the whole diamond thing, but I quite liked it without. I think with these papers as well, you don't really need that. It's quite nice, quite a showstopper anyway. So yeah, so hopefully you have a go. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you all next time. Bye.